I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah. Clothes to match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go.
One question that I get asked a ton, and I actually got asked this week as well, is do you have any tips for people that are wanting to move to Maui? This is an amazing place, and I know I am super fortunate to be able to live here. I've been here for almost 3 years now in total, and so I'd love to help out and give some tips on how you can move to Maui as well. There are 7 steps that I've kind of put together that I think are going to be super helpful for you to kind of get the ball rolling and start thinking about what you need to do in order to actually move here. So just getting right into it, starting out with step number 1, and that's budget. I feel like money is always a cause for stress, whether that's for people individually or couples, and I think creating a budget is going to be super key, super helpful for when you're planning to move here, and that's having that budget of cost for food, flights, housing, transportation, healthcare, shipping household goods, etc. You want to make sure that you've got a budget, you're looking into each of these things on how much it's actually going to cost you when you do move here, and is that something that's feasible for you? So whether you've got a huge lump sum that you've already saved up, which is going to make it easier, or you're planning to find work here, regardless, making sure that you've got your budget and you kind of know what things are going to look like money-wise, that is key for step number 1. Step number 2 is figure out where you think you want to live. Now, each kind of spot here on Maui has its own unique local flavor and really, has its own identity. And so make sure you do a little bit of research. I'm actually going to be coming out with a video very soon on each little town or locale here on Maui and how they are different and why they're unique. But make sure you do your research on where you're looking to live, why you're wanting to live there, and really hone in on which part of the island you want to live on. Step number 2, I always recommend starting out by renting instead of just moving and buying. And this is mainly for people who haven't lived here on Maui for a long period of time. For those that have been here before and have been here a bunch and really know the island, maybe you can just skip this step, but I always recommend renting first. And that's simply because, back to step number 2, if you're not too sure where to live, renting a place is super helpful for kind of getting a feel for what you really want in a location for Maui. Do you want to be right by the beach, or do you want to be closer in town where you can do more shopping, you're closer to Costco, or you want to be closer to wherever your work is? I always recommend renting first, as it's not something that's super permanent and you can always buy later. This next step is for those who have pets. Make sure you talk to your local vet early. As I've mentioned before in tons of videos before, Hawaii is a rabies-free state, so that means you're gonna have to do a lot of paperwork and really get your ducks in a row for how you want to bring your pet here. I'd only really recommend either bringing a dog or a cat, as a lot of different animals aren't even allowed here on Maui. So again, talk to your vet, make sure that they know that you're planning on moving, and you can just get those things in order. You can get all that paperwork, how you're gonna have your pet travel here, just so that it can be hassle-free, which it totally can. It does take time, it does take some effort in terms of getting all that paperwork and making sure you're getting all of that thoroughly done. But we've been able to travel with our pup, and it's been great. it's just a little bit of work. Tip number 5 is ship or sell your car. So I'm not too sure what kind of car you drive or what kind of car you're looking to maybe buy here, but I would definitely take into account that on average it costs about $1,500 to ship your car here to Maui. And so if you're currently driving a beater, maybe you don't want to bring that over here and you want to sell it at home and then buy here. I know people who have done it both ways. I was in a lease and was able to find somebody that picked up my lease, and that made it a lot easier for me just to buy a car when I got here. But just know too that cars are just a little bit more expensive, so you got to take that into account as well. But make sure you're not leaving your car out and either ship it or sell it. Step number 6 is find a job. And so one thing to really take into account is if you're planning to move here without having a job already, you're moving here to then figure out what you want to do, just make sure you know that over 80% of the jobs here have to do with the service and tourism industry. That makes up a huge portion of the jobs that you're going to find here. So I know personally a lot of people that have come thinking that they were going to be able to work in a different kind of job than what was available here and had to leave. And again, that doesn't mean that you won't be able to find a job that you're not going to like, but those are the majority of the jobs that are going to be available and going to be open. So that still provides a slew of different job opportunities within the tourism and service industry. But again, just know that that's going to be the vast majority of jobs that are available and are for the taking. Last but not least is find some community. So I personally found that Maui is super welcoming and hospitable. It's got that amazing aloha spirit where everybody is super friendly for the most part. And yeah, I would just recommend trying to find a community. And so whether that's a sports team, a church, a nonprofit, just get involved, find a community that you're then better able to integrate into this island life. So with all of that being said, make sure to follow those tips. Let me know in the comments below if this was helpful, if there was maybe anything that I missed out. Let me know. I would love to answer any questions that you might have. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help and make a difference. And I'll see you on the next video. I think that's everything. Did I leave anything out?